two people with a similar profile on paper may have different needs. They may have different appetites for risk. They may not even plan on retiring in the UK, and therefore they don't want too much going on here. Or maybe conversely, because they don't plan on retiring in the UK, they want to have UK pounds coming in and maybe spending dollars or spending in the Caribbean or in Africa where the pound is way stronger. But you're going to need professional advice. And as I said, you need, I'd say, 3 tiers of professional advice. First and foremost, you need a broker. The broker is going to understand all of the products and the mortgage products. You're also going to need an accountant. So speak to an accountant that can talk you through the tax implications, especially if, as I said, you're planning on retiring abroad. You also want to speak to an estate planner. I see this all the time, and I can say it hurts my heart. I see people build up portfolios. They have 3, 4, 5, 7, 11 properties and have never talked to an estate planner. In their mind, that person's just in my pocket. They're just talking about wills and they're talking about trusts, etc., and that's going to cost me money. Always speak to an estate planner as you're trying to build your portfolio, because what you don't want is to work hard, invest all your time, your energy, your money in building something that in your mind is something that's going to create generational wealth. But because you don't protect it, you don't have a trust and you don't have the right things in place, it means that when you die, either the government's going to swoop in and take what they want, it's going to get tied up in probate. Your kids and grandkids may not understand what you wanted, and therefore it can cause disputes. I get calls about it at least twice a month where a parent or a grandparent has passed away. They've left several properties, no will, which means that it goes into probate. Everybody has a different view on how much they should be getting. And quite often it's not out of greed or selfishness. It's just because the person that passed away didn't put their will or their intent in writing. So always speak to an estate planner. Always speak to an accountant. Always speak to a mortgage broker. Some of the information may conflict because they're all trying to give you professional advice from their area of expertise. But make sure that you speak to all 3, because all 3 of them are important. The other thing that you're going to want to understand is that lenders offer different products. So more likely than not, your high street lender is not going to be who you go to as a portfolio landlord. So not every lender offers buy-to-let. Quite often, the main high street big lenders may not offer portfolio type buy-to-lets. Some specialize in first-time landlords. As I said, you could be a first-time landlord, or you can be a first-time buyer, first-time landlord, which is a little bit different. Some specialize in portfolio landlords with 5 or more properties or 10 or more properties. Some specialize in what we call the SPVs or limited companies. So you're buying through a limited company, not through your personal name. Others specialize in HMOs. So these are homes where maybe it was a 4 or 5 bedroom home. The person has made it so that multiple people can rent out rooms and live in the home. In a lot of boroughs now, you do need a license for HMOs or holiday lets. Be careful with this. So I would say just be really careful with the whole Airbnb model, because a lot of leases, if you're getting a leasehold apartment, a lot of leases may have restrictions on renting it out on an Airbnb platform. It may have blackout dates that you can only do it for a certain amount of days per month. Always operate within the guidelines of the policies and the law and the regulations. Don't operate in the gray area. It will come back and bite you. And again, I'm not giving tax or legal advice. I'm just giving you information. Always speak to a professional. Always read the fine print. Always understand what it is that you're signing. So this is why you're going to need professional advice, that they can help keep you out of trouble, make sure that you have the right product for the right reason. Here's a real life lesson. So I've spoken to people over time who believed that they couldn't invest because they thought they needed a huge income or years of experience, or they needed to go on some course. And often the issue wasn't whether they could invest, it was understanding the right strategy. So by speaking to a professional, the right lender, and the right property. Preparation is always going to be better than rushing into it. So make sure that you're preparing, making sure that you're having the conversations with the right people, and not because you're paying them, but because they're paid to give you advice through you being successful. So as a mortgage broker, I don't get paid unless I complete something for you. So we don't charge fees in advance. I make these videos that you can understand products, but when you get through to me, we'll have a one-on-one conversation, and I'll be able to support you in your first time property, or second or third. But if you're a first time buyer, you do need that additional bit of support.